Welcome back, YouTube. How are you doing today? I hope you're staying safe and all well and good. So today, a little bit of a different video on Cyberpunk 2077. I'm going to put forward my wish list of things I'd like to see improved in the game. The game is awesome, but there are a few things that I think they could tweak or add to the game to make it much more immersive and a nicer experience for the user. So without further ado, let's do this! So before we get started in the video today, I wanted to make a few things very clear. This is not a criticism of video of the game. I am absolutely loving the game. I'm about 60 to 70 hours into the game and I've so much still to do, and I'm really enjoying it. So it is a nice experience. So I'm not one of these people that are sitting pointing the finger saying how this is a crap game. I have quite the opposite view. I am also not going to cover glitches. I know that the devs are working hard to patch a lot of stuff, get a lot of stability into the game, get a lot of the glitches out, and that will happen over time, I'm confident. I have a lot of experience in open world games. I did work with and give a lot of feedback to games, Ubisoft and Bethesda, and various things about games that we've played in the past. I know what I like in an open world game, I know what I don't like, and this is purely my opinion and my wish list of things that I'd like to see either added or tweaked in the game. And I think if they do this, it would help improve the overall gaming experience with Cyberpunk. But having said that, I am enjoying the game. I do love it. There's a lot to do, and hopefully this is seen as just some constructive feedback. Okay guys, let's get started. So the first thing I'd like to cover is the fact that when we start the game, very quickly in the game, we come to this screen here and we're showing that we can customize our character look how we want, and there is a huge number of options available to us. Change eye color, change skin color, hair color, all kinds of stuff. For some reason though, once we've done this, we can't go back to it, and I'd love to see us go back to it. Now, there is an opportunity to do that. There is these mirrors that appear in the game, and I'm not sure why they're there, other than just to check in on your hair or something. They really don't serve much of a function in the game, and this would be a perfect opportunity to be able to tweak your character, maybe change a few things, even earn in-game credits or something to be able to get things like, I don't know, new tattoos, scars, new cyber looks, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff that you could actually potentially add to the game that would really personalize your character, and that's something that I think would be a great addition to the game, and I think a lot of people would like. Let's talk for a little bit of time about weapons customizations, etc. It's fair to say I do like the weapons in the game. There's lots and lots of weapons to pick up. You're never ever going to be dissatisfied with the amount of weapons there are in the game, the variety of weapons in the game, and it suits every kind of play style that you can ever imagine. They've done a very interesting job on customization in this game, as far as how you customize your guns with the mods, and one thing and another. But one thing that I think it is lacking is attachments. I mean, you basically only have a sight or a muzzle, and the muzzles are generally silencers that reduce your damage. I'd like to see a little bit more on this. I know these mods are in here for a reason. These mods are there to kind of fill that gap as far as things like, you know, getting rid of recoil, more damage, etc. But I would like to see a few more attachment options on your guns. I would also like to see much more opportunity to customize your guns or personalize your guns. Maybe the look, maybe camos for the guns, weapon trinkets to customize the guns, etc. And again, much the same as I think you could do tattoos and all kinds of earn modifications for your character. I think you could also earn points in-game currency to be able to add specific camos and specific trinkets and personalize your weapons a little bit more than we do now. At this point, to get a nice camouflaged gun, you basically have to go and find an iconic weapon or something like that. So I think that would be a great addition to the game. I'd also like to have some kind of weapon preview. You can see here we can preview the weapon, but I can't actually get up close and personal to see the weapon as such. So I'd like to have a weapon preview so I can see the weapon. I can spin it around and whatnot. That's a lot more for doing thumbnails and whatnot. That's as large as I can kind of get it at the moment, so I'd like to kind of have an option of a full screen preview for my weapons, please. And the last thing I'd like to have in my weapons is some kind of method that I could favorite my weapons. When I have a ton of weapons in here, it's sometimes hard to tell which weapons you want to keep and which weapons you want to sell, and it can at times be a little bit where you get to the point where you can potentially sell a weapon that you want to keep. So some kind of way of favoriting these so I don't accidentally sell them would be fantastic. Just maybe locks them up so you don't accidentally sell them, and it would just make life a lot easier. This little blue icon in the corner of the screen really is so small it can be missed, and it only indicates the weapons that are actually being equipped. It doesn't show the weapons maybe that you're carrying in your inventory and that you will be using on a regular basis or switching in and out. So yeah, some kind of way to favorite weapons in the inventory, so I know that those are the weapons that I chose and I want to keep, would be fantastic. So now on to the driving experience, and it's not specifically the vehicles that you get in this game, it's more about the mini-map and the kind of... I understand why they want to keep your interface as uncluttered as possible, but the mini-map, you see how it's square? I think if they made it rectangle so that you get a kind of wider view of the mini-map, at times it's very, very hard to pick what street you're supposed to be turning down. You can't actually see far enough ahead at times when you're driving to anticipate that there is a corner coming up. So therefore you're always kind of driving slower than you need to at times, or you overshoot the corner and completely miss the street and have to backtrack. So I think the mini-map, a reconfiguration on the mini-map would be extremely useful and would help with the kind of, to keep me in the game and keep me immersed a lot more than it does at the moment. It's just too small. It doesn't have a wide enough kind of zoom on it to be able to navigate through Night City effectively. At times, I think it's really hard to use, and so if you could make it a little bit, maybe a different shape, or reconfigure it a little bit so that we can, see the corners coming up before we are basically right on them to turn, would be fantastic, and I think it would help a lot with riding around in the environment and navigating things. So there's a few issues that I have with the stash and the stashes in general. The first one is it gives you all these lovely slots to put your guns in. Unfortunately, for some reason, a ton of slots there, you have to have specific weapons to put into these slots or they don't fill up. So it would be kind of nice to understand or have some indication which weapons I need to put in which slots. Maybe a name or something on them, so that I can go out into the environment and go and find them. That would really keep me interested in the game, to be able to go out into the huge map and find each of these weapons so I could fill up, so this could look schmick, all nice and complete. Otherwise, I would like to maybe see the option of just maybe a weapon type. So maybe there obviously is a shotgun. If I can find a iconic double barrel, regardless of what it is, it would fit in there, etc. So I think this needs a little bit of tweaking. It just, like a lot of things in the game, it's not clear what should fit into each of these slots, unless you do some research, and a lot of people have spent hours and hours and hours trying to figure this stuff out. You could have a little picture like that above it, or a name or something. It would save the frustration, because what eventually happens with this is you just completely ignore it, and you couldn't be bothered with it, to be honest. And I think it's a great pity, because they've spent a lot of time obviously designing this so that you can display your weapons. The second thing I don't quite understand, so the more you get into the game, the more you will get various things for your stash, and what I don't understand is why, when you put these weapons or whatever it might be in your stash, you can't actually see any of the stats on these weapons or whatever. So that may be a glitch. It may be something that they're going to fix in an update, but that needs to be fixed fairly quickly. I just can't make a comparison if I'm going to switch a weapon out or a piece of clothing or whatever it might be. To be able to know that I'm picking the right one. Effectively, at the moment, what I have to do is I have to bring it out of my stash, then exit the menu, compare it, and then if it doesn't have the right kind of weapon stats or whatever it might be on it, I have to put it back in, and it's just all very, very messy. So, to be able to see the numbers from within the stash would be fantastic. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm actually taking a whole lot of these clothes and I'm going to put them into another stash area. Now, I have no idea why the stashes are not linked, and if you're not aware, you do have a number of stash areas that you can put things in. You will, obviously, with all the vehicles that you pick up, you will get a stash area in the vehicle. Also, you will get, as you progress through the game, different player homes. But unfortunately, for some unknown reason, they are not all linked. So I'd love to see them link these stashes so that you know, regardless of where I am, I can just go in and grab my whatever I need, and it's just a kind of centralized it's a centralized stash of guns, weapon, you know, clothes, etc. I don't understand why they wouldn't do it, because it's you know, it's not online. There's not an online capacity in this, so it's not a server issue as such. So a large stash capacity and centralized would be lovely. So now we come to consumables, and I really don't understand why consumables are actually in the game, because they don't seem to serve much of a purpose other than breaking them down for components or selling them. I know they do state a benefit. I've never ever had to use them in game. I've never found that they've given me any kind of benefit when I've accidentally used them. I don't understand why they are in the game in the first place. I really think they need to either do some work on this or get rid of them completely. Do something like a Fallout 4 or Fallout 76 or whatever, where these actually do have a benefit of some kind. Now, the second thing I'd like them to do, if they're going to keep them in the game, and no doubt they have to keep them in the game because they're so deeply ingrained in the environment, is can we please have some kind of bulk sell option so that we can highlight all these and just hit the sell button, pretty much like we do have in the junk section, where we can sell all junk just straight away. And this goes not only for consumables, but for everything that we have to sell in the game. Can we have something that we can mark? We can mark weapons, clothes, whatever it might be, and sell them all in one big hit. It would save a heck of a lot of time and get me back into the game much quicker. I've never been a great fan of games that take you out of the especially open world games that take you out of the environment for a long time, and you have to do all this inventory management. I'm happy to do a little bit of inventory management, but there are some shortcuts that you could do, like being able to sell things quickly and get back to questing. So as far as side quests and whatnot go, you'll start to accumulate a number of things in your journal, and one of the things that is quite annoying is these rides, which, as you can see, I've got an absolute ton of, and these show up on the map all over the place. So you can see we're standing right next to one right now. So there is no option to cancel this apart from buying it, and I really don't need to buy any new vehicles. I'm happy with the vehicles I've got, so I'd like a way of having this just to kind of, I don't know, cancel it so it doesn't show up on the map, or reject that or whatever. And so if I don't buy it, fine, I don't get another chance to buy it, I can live with that. But yeah, just it super complicates the map at times, and just, you can see there's a ton of these on the map that really don't need to be on the map, cluttering up the map. And I know you can filter things on the map, but you know, this shows up as a job. So I would like to see either this being able to filter on the map or being able to get rid of them, just to, you know, free up the map and declutter a little bit, because majority of these weapons I am never ever going to purchase. It's not going to happen. I'm not that interested in these rides and purchasing them all, and I know there's an achievement for them, but yeah, if we could find some way of being able to get rid of these, it would be fantastic. And so that's really all I had to say about various things that I think could be changed or tweaked to improve the game. Guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077. Obviously, if you've watched this video, you are playing the game, or you consider playing the game. I'd love to hear your comments. If you have any feedback that you think could help improve the game. Hopefully, I'm not sure the devs will ever see this, but if they do, hopefully it's helpful for them. And I'm sure that some of this stuff has already been, feedback's been given on it, and they're already working on it. And I'm sure that this game is going to just continue to improve going forward. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending the time to get to this point in the video. If you enjoyed what you have seen and heard, please consider dropping a like rating. It really does help the channel. I'm pushing towards 1,000 subs on this channel. As I've said previously, this is something I enjoy doing. It's a hobby, and your support is very much appreciated. If you want to keep up to date with more game guides on Cyberpunk or any other games, please consider hitting that big red button and subscribing. Make sure you turn on the bell notification, and we will catch you next time on Gaming for XP. See ya!